One, go. Yeah. Yep. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching our live. Um, it's going to be once a week, and today I'm going to have TJ and David going to be here joining us in regards of the federal budget report that will impact our real estate market. Okay, so let's just take a look at what happened to the market right now. Okay, um, is so what happened is one second, let me turn off the audio. Okay, okay, so that we have it here. Okay, so in today's post, so what happened is, if we look at it very carefully, is that the federal government is having like multiple uh policy that is going to potentially have a detrimental impact toward the housing market. Okay, and one of them, okay, is going to be the first home saving account. Okay, so what that means is that they can take more RRSP out. Okay, in order for them to contribute. Okay, so starting in 2023, the first time home buyer will have the ability to contribute up to 40,000 to a new tax-free saving account. Okay, and then it combined the best features of an RRSP with the best feature of TFSA. Okay, so their first home saving account is going to cap at $8,000 per year. So which means that they can take more RRSP out right now. So like a lot more income will be non-taxable. What is your thought on that, TJ? To like toward people who need that to buy a house.
I think it's great. I think as a first time home buyer, getting that vehicle to save up and put that money towards down payment, it's a great advantage. And I think, with first time home buyers, younger people, I think the biggest advantage they have is age. I don't think they really need to worry about timing the market and trying to see, when they should can come in or when they should not come in. I think eventually, they would always be positive, if they're planning to stay in this home for, a longer duration of time.
I believe it's going to be a yes and no. I would just be honest with you. Like the reason being is that I think this policy is more redundant, to be honest, because like people who are smart enough, they are not going to buy RSP. Trust me, because RSP is technically like locking down the funds. Okay, I'm so regret that I putting $100,000 toward their RSP and I cannot do anything about it. Okay, so David, what is your thought on that?
I think it's I think it's great personally because what we lack in terms of in Canada and in the Western world in general is we lack people saving, we lack people investing, we lack people are actively increasing their disposable income and a future stream of revenue via saving, via getting dividends. Right? There's just too many people that are month to month nowadays. There's too many people that are spending. It's unfortunate. I don't blame it on them because as you can see from inflation, gas is almost $2 a liter, right? But it is good that people are putting their money to work instead of just working for their money.
Yeah. Okay. The second policy, which I really like, the second policy to be honest, is the Housing Accelerator Fund. Okay, so this 4 billion fund administered by Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation will encourage municipality to grow housing supply faster than their historical average. Okay, increase densification, speed up approval time. Okay, tackle NIBYism. Okay, I don't know what's that. Okay, and establish inclusionary zoning by law and encourage public transit oriented development. Um, I think overall, I think this is the best policy. I would just be honest, because I've been saying like multiple times that how inefficient our government is, and especially referring to the Ontario government. Because when you have a piece of land that need to get the zoning done, especially in the city of Markham, okay, it's like taking forever. Like to be honest, I know one piece of land in Markham, okay, it took them at least like since 2016 until now, it took them like 4 or 5 years to get the zoning done and to pay the development charge and everything. So with all the delaying costs here, like if they're not going to speed up the approval process, okay, and especially with OMB is not no longer in pace right now, how are they going to? How are we going to have more housing? Like whose developer or whose builder is going to build in Markham? I'll just be honest. I don't think any of them will. Or overall in GTA, if the zoning time or approval time take like forever. Okay. So what is your thought on that? Like the
Yeah,
housing
y-
accelerator fund.
yeah, I think it's a key thing for builders because the longer they sit on a project, the more they have to incur a cost, right? So I think the key thing that was missing was accountability. So I think this will help build some accountability and move a lot of red tape.
I personally think, I like the fact that they're getting started, regardless of the amount, like $4 billion. I don't know how much of that is actually going to tackle the the lack of supply of land that we have in Ontario, because lack of supply of land, as we all know, is
I don't think. Okay, I'll put it this way. I don't think there is lack of supply of land.
right.
I just think that it's more of inefficiency than
Yeah,
lack of supply of
inefficient.
land. Because if
Exactly.
you drive out the highway over like 404, there's all piece of land over there. Okay, I don't care if it's zoned for a green belt or anything, but it seems to me that okay, I know the building industry very well. Okay, in order for you to build townhouses, okay, it shouldn't be taking you longer than 6 months to do it. Okay, but the problem is it's not because of the lack of supply of land. It's because of the fact that a lot of the time that we cannot pass the traffic study because we are still relying on car. Okay, so therefore we need road to build infrastructure, and we need road to build uh, um, you know, we need it's more like car oriented right now, especially when you're going to other suburb. Like even Markham is car oriented. Okay, unless you're in downtown, it's not car oriented, then you have to go to suburb. Okay, second, I think that we're missing a lot of public transit oriented development. Okay, I think things around the subway line. Okay, I have no idea. Like how come builders, like how come it's not being zoned for high density, especially when you're talking about near the subway line. Okay, right now there's zoning for it, but then it's taking forever. And then especially for the fact that a lot of the builders slash developer are trying to hold on their land as long as possible. Right?
exactly
And there's no
as the
penalty for it.
and basically the fact is the green belt is just built for, it's created for developers to make more money, like we all know that. Like I just came back from Calgary, and they are building at about $200 per square feet for detached. I have the client who bought a 2,500 square foot detached in Calgary for 750K. So basically the lot is 250K, right? The building itself, structure itself, is $500,000, right? In Toronto, the developers generally don't differentiate the two. They give you one lump sum amount of how much the house costs, right? They don't break down the lot costs and the building costs. But
Yeah,
if you
because
break it
the
down,
lot cost itself is like
well, it's like,
tons of dollars.
yeah,
They don't want you to know.
it's basically $1.5-2 million for a lot cost in a new area in the north, right? So
Yeah.
they don't want you to see the fact that the lot is 1.5 and they bought 1 acre of land for 8 million. The fact is, it's because of the green belt. It's
First of all, like, okay, put it this way, okay. I'm not saying that we should have the green belt put aside. I would just be honest, because I always believe in densification, okay. Because if we compare Toronto to London to New York, okay, I believe Toronto is at like 400 people per kilometer right now, okay. But while like London is like at 1,800, New York is at 2,300, okay. When we're talking about we want to be a world class city like New York, London, Shanghai, Tokyo, okay, those city, okay. And when we have a city that is sparse, like everybody is like so further apart, okay, everybody is like living in a 3,000 square foot of space. It's just inefficient to me. Okay, do we really need a 3,000 square foot of place to live? I'm living in a 3,000 square foot of space right now, and I think that a lot of the space that I have is redundant. I would just be honest.
Yeah, but I see an advantage there too for some investors, Ringo. Like as you noted, like the policy is shifting towards more high density, right? So, I think they're going to be starting to make less and less of detaches and more high rises. But this is an opportunity. Like right now, absolutely the detached prices are significantly higher, right? But as you move forward with these policies, detaches are going to be hard to buy as well eventually.
No, but here's the thing. There's one thing that I think something's anomalous in the greater Toronto area is that when you're compared to the world class, for example, I use New York as an example. Okay, when I have to go to Manhattan and afford like a 1-bedroom condo, it costs me like $1.5 million USD. Okay, but when I go to suburb and afford like a 3,000 square foot house, it only costs me like 1.2 million US. Do you get what I mean? Do you get what I mean? Like something is just wrong. Like our downtown is basically cheaper than the suburb. Okay. So something's just wrong here. Okay. Anyway, we move on to the next one. So the home buyer bills of right. Okay. So a ban on blind bidding. The legal right to conduct a home inspection. The increased transparency from the previous sales price of the property, okay, which we already have that in Ontario, and the right to when real estate agents are involved in both sides of a potential sales, known as dual agency. I have no idea on this one, but what do you think about those policies here? Basically, they're tackling unethical agents, which
I think they're just making things up. There's a reason why open bidding by Sotheby's, right? When they bid on diamond cars or private jets, they go by open bidding, right? Open bidding generates, 100,000, 150,000, no 200,000, 350,000. That generates more momentum for you to be bidding, right? So changing it from blind to open, it doesn't really, or transparent bidding, it doesn't really change anything. It's basically, actually, I would think it would make it worse. If I know that guy's bidding it for 1.1, I might go 1.2, then, party C go 1.3. It actually generates more momentum, for the actual process and pushing the prices higher. So I think it's, again, politicians not knowing how the industry works, just, creating theater, just making up something to get votes, because that's from my experience as a realtor for many years and going through the bidding process many times. I don't see how it would help at all by taking away, blind bidding and going for a transparent or open bidding. I would think it would make it worse, right?
I agree with David on that. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I think they're just trying to get vote. To be honest,
yeah, that's it.
I think the best way to do it is that they cannot sell it at above the asking price.
Yeah, exactly. Just put the asking price and that's it, right?
You know what? Like all this inefficiency among the government is man, forget about it. Okay. Anyway, okay. This one has we have a lot of we off the mic. We have a lot of say on that. A 2-year ban on foreign purchase of non-recreational properties. So as of January 1st, 2023, hold on a second. Anyone who sells the property that they have owned for less than 12 months. Okay, anyway. Let's move on to the 2-year ban first. Sorry about it.
Yeah, this is a foreign buyers, yeah.
Yeah. What's your thought?
Well, this is interesting. It's now they made it across Ontario. Right, so it's all across Ontario and it's 2-year ban. But to be honest, I don't think it does much because foreign buyers only account for less than 5% of the market share, anyways, right? And I think they increased it to 20% from 15%, right? I personally don't think it's going to have any major implications.
Well, I personally think that approximately I believe
and just to add to that, it excludes permanent residents and a whole bunch of people that already live in Ontario, so really it's probably like 1% or 0.5%.
Yeah
they're trying to get. So this is all publicity.
Well, I think the reason that they have that is just to buy vote, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know that the problem is not really the foreign buyer. We have less than 3% of the property that was being owned by a foreign buyer, to be honest.
Yeah.
And especially when you have 20% foreign buyer tax is not really it's not really that attractive to will investor, to be honest. So what's your thought, David?
I think it makes for great, again, makes for great political theater, right? It's
Mhm.
like, in the US, when certain politicians go, oh, immigrants are coming taking your jobs. It
Mhm.
sounds good to the voters because it's like, oh, yeah, that's why I don't have a job, right?
Mhm.
But hey, that's not necessarily the case, right? As you said, 3%, and on top of that, whatever they buy, they're renting it out, especially in Toronto. Not necessarily in West Vancouver, but definitely in Toronto. They're buying a $800,000 1+1 condo. They're definitely renting that out. They're not going to leave that vacant. And a lot of, I don't know why there's so many people saying that there are a ton of vacant units in Toronto. There are not a ton of vacant units in
Mhm.
Toronto.
Mhm.
Basically, they want cash flow as well. They're just not going to leave that. They're not going to leave that money on the table.
Yeah, why don't they help me if I'm vacant unit in Toronto? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like I can understand if you buy $5 million or $10 million property in West Vancouver and you want to leave it vacant, but you buy an $800,000 condo, you're definitely going to be renting that out.
So we have a conclusion. It's pure bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, next one. As of January 1st, 2023, anyone who sell a property that you have owned for less than 12 months will have their profit taxed as business income, with exemption made in case where it can be proven that the sales was tied to legitimate unforeseen circumstances. So I think they're referring to the fact that if there's like an event of a life change, okay,
Mhm.
then you will be exempted from the business income tax. Okay.
Yeah.
But isn't that in TJ?
This
You're
is
flipping
this
houses
is
all the
this
time.
is this has
This is in
always been
place all the
there.
time.
No, this has always been there. They just
So
kind
you're
of like
flipping houses all the time. Did you pay your tax?
no, yeah, like you have to, right? So, but the thing is, like, this has been all the time there. Like, if you sell something, like even an assignment, you have to claim the gain as full income, right? They're just trying to formalize this, and like I guess in a way, um, you know, like Sierra has been doing this already for the past whatever years, and more so in the last 12 months. So I don't see this as a new policy.
I think they already this policy is already in place. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
they just kind of I guess like basically what it was like the 12-month was kind of like a gray area before, like can you stay there for 6 months or like
Seven and a
five
half.
days or whatever. Right now they just said, okay, you have to stay there for 12 months, right? And until you prove that it's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
It's always been there. It's been a gray area. Now there's kind of like made it more black and white, I guess, right?
Okay, I can understand how this policy it helps increase their tax revenue, but does it necessarily lower property prices? I mean, at the end of the day, like flipping houses doesn't really lower property prices. Flipping houses are actually adding value to the real estate industry, right?
Yeah, they're actually hurting supply here. Like they're actually hurting supply.
No, but
It seems
but you
counterintuitive.
know what I think is that when you have a common enemy, okay, because right now,
Home flippers
the whole population is blaming on foreign buyer,
and
okay, blaming on house flipper,
Yeah.
okay. So when you have all this like common enemy that you have, it's easier for you to gain full.
Yeah.
Okay, and anyway, we move on to
But
the next.
they're really hurting supply here because home flippers actually help take up crappy
Yeah, I know.
houses and bring them to market, right?
Right.
I know. So
Exactly.
TJ, you have been creating a lot of supply, to be honest.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, next one. First time homebuyer incentive to be treated and extend to 2025.
Okay,
What was
I
it
think
about?
that's good. Like, it's
Well, that's good, but nobody using it, to be honest.
that is true.
That's
That is
true.
true.
Yeah, that one's because you don't want to share with the government, right? Like, why do you want equity from the government?
Why do you want to share the equity with the government? Like,
Yeah, that one is I don't know. Like, that's just money put aside doing nothing. They should
yeah.
reallocate that somewhere else.
Okay. Okay. Next one. Okay. 4 billion to indigenous community and 1.5 billion for affordable housing development.
Mhm.
What's that? What's your thought on that?
I think that's positive. There's less indigenous communities in Ontario that I
Yeah.
know of. Maybe it's just my lack of knowing. But when I was in Alberta, there's quite a few, and many of them
There's
are unable to purchase a first property, and I think that would help them. And you know, yeah, basically
Okay.
increase the
How about next one?
Yeah,
Anyone?
go ahead.
Okay, because I think that one is pretty
Mhm.
fake, and I
Yeah.
think it's pretty bullshit. So we don't
Yeah.
need to talk about it. To
Yeah.
be honest.
Mhm.
Next one. Okay. Anyone reselling a new construction purchase agreement under assignment must pay GST, HST based on their original purchase price at the time of sale.
This is
Okay,
very interesting.
it is very interesting. You and
Yeah.
I always argue about it. Okay.
Yeah.
How about this, TJ? I'll give you a chance to talk about it first.
It's kind of gray. Like it's really hard to understand what they mean. It's basically like usually the builder pays the HST, right, and then they get the HST rebate. You know, if you consider living it as your primary residence, but if you don't live there, then you forfeit the HST rebate, and you as the consumer has to pay that, right? But now they're saying that the way I understand it is, if you sell an assignment, on whatever gain you make, you have to also pay the HST on the total purchase price. So, does the builder pay it, or does the builder push it to you now, or do they both pay it? Like it's kind of confusing
No.
here, right? Yeah,
It's pretty confusing. To be
yeah,
honest,
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay. First of all, I have to make it clear that I understand that there's a lot of people buying pre-construction and they have no intention of closing it.
Oh, a lot of them, majority of them. It's
Majority,
basically
I would say at least like 50% of them.
yeah, it's basically margin trading, right? So
Yeah,
you're,
margin trading. Yeah,
you're
margin
you're
trading.
calling a futures call contract.
And you know what happened is that I have tons of buyer
Yeah,
back in like 2 months ago, and they all asked me the same thing as that. Ringo, where can I get something that's 5% down
yeah,
payment?
yeah,
Whereas, okay, why do you want to have 5% down payment? It's not like
yeah,
you don't have any money. Oh, because I can buy 4 of them and I can flip it.
yeah, yeah.
So at the end of the day, um, this okay. To be honest with you, if they implement this one carefully and accurately,
Yeah.
okay, I think this is the policy that they have so far. I would just be honest.
Like this is the policy that could make a change. You're saying,
Yeah, the policy that could make a change and to make
assuming, yeah, go ahead.
and it could make the market like less hot.
100%. But I don't understand how they're gonna do this HST. Like, does a builder pay it and then they get, then they can write it off against what the HST they collect, but the HST eventually gets pushed to the person that's actually selling it. Like it's interesting. Like if the way I understand it, like the way I read it, it's kind of scary because if I'm buying a pre-construction right now, if I'm thinking of flipping it, right, the market better be 13% above price, or else I'll be underwater with paying HST as well at the same time, right?
I don't know. Like I would just be honest. Like
Yeah.
um right now at this moment, okay. I just afraid that if you're banning like I'm kind of saying like banning, but not actually banning. Like if you're banning like assignment,
Pre-construction, yeah, that's what you're doing.
yeah, and also like not allowing like foreign buyer to buy. I'm just afraid that builder is not building it.
Oh, this is gonna be a huge problem then. Yeah, this is actually gonna cause more supply issues because the builder's not gonna be like doing this because this is how the market's running right now, right?
Yeah, but like, is it a good thing? Yes and no. I would just be honest with you. Yes and no. To be honest, it's going to harm their. It's going to be have the detrimental impact toward the housing market for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, is it a long term solution? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with you. I don't think so.
I think they're just trying to put this to get rid of speculative investing. I just don't know how they're going to apply this, and just reading this is very vague.
Yeah,
So,
because like we were saying, like how are you going to pay the HST 2 times?
yeah.
Right. So David, what is the thought?
I think again, it's they're not addressing the issue, which is a lack of supply, right? You're constantly blaming back on speculators, on investors. Yes, I do agree that to a certain extent, it may drive price up temporarily, but that's free markets, right? Right. If you guys want free markets, And if we keep talking about, oh, how we, endorse capitalism and free markets, that's part of the process. It will correct itself because free markets always corrects itself, right? Government going in and trying to help first-time home buyers, I agree with that, but at the same time, address the main issue, which is a lack of supply, right?
Okay, so next one.
Sorry to interrupt. TJ's
Yep.
gotta go. It's 11:30.
No, I'll stay a bit more.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe 10 more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next one. Okay. The first time home buyer tax credit will be doubled from $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, it's 10,000 on, like, look at the price of houses now. It's like a drop in the bucket.
Well, if it is in Calgary,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are good. Yeah.
It helps in Calgary. You can get
Oh,
more
huge,
than
huge,
Calgary.
huge.
yeah. So $10,000 do, but then I don't think they have their. I don't think they have the land transfer tax in Calgary, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah. So another bullshit again.
I think this one helps a little bit.
In Calgary for sure. It's just, relative to the prices.
Yeah, a little bit help.
Yeah.
Okay. 7,500 tax credit. Okay, to homeowner who creates second suite for family members. Oh, I think this one is a good one. Like email.
Yeah, but it's is this the right one? Like I think it's only for older people, or not for family members. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think a lot of people, the mentality in our society is, when you're 20, when you're 22, let's move out, and it's great moving out and everything, but is moving out still affordable, right? Like everybody, of course, it's great to have your own apartment or condo, whatever. But at the same time, is it affordable? But if you can say add on a laneway home, right? Or and basically live there for a little while, and you can save more money for your future down payment, and that would help all parties, right? The parents may be able to increase their future equity on their home, and at the same time, the son or daughter has a place to stay for time being, and gives them more time to save up for.
It helps with the supply as well, right? There's so many, secondary suites that could be built, right? Potentially, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are. How about this? Why don't we have questions about interest rate hike? Okay. TJ, do you have some graph to show us?
I don't have any graph, but the way I see it right now is, the price has shot up from December to almost to the end of January, right? Even irrespective of the interest rates going up, right? Like we saw some cooling of activity right in February, almost mid-February, right? And thing with real estate is, it takes time a bit for the information to, travel, right? To see what's going on in the market, right? I think the prices were already kind of like softening, in March, and now it's kind of frosty. There are, prices that are, going below sold, and there's still some that are going oversold, right? So I think the market's just trying to find a direction. But definitely when the Fed comes in, with interest rate hike, and we went 0.5 basis points. So, that just shows that the Bank of Canada, it's, should have done this a while back to soften things up, right? And I think they're generally scared of inflation, so they went up 0.5. I think the federal government in the U.S. is going to have a May 5th event, and more likely, they're going to go 0.5 as well. But I think the bigger thing is, that they're actually going to be pulling money out of the economy. Like they're printing money, right? So printing money, adds, so yeah, there's a whole supply and demand issue, I guess, right? But in reality is there's more dollars chasing assets, and now they're going to be pulling out money, right? And this always happens.
Well, I just look at it on the other way. Is that like we have to like put it this way. So you have seen the U.S. CPI report, right?
Yeah.
And it was out on Wednesday or Thursday, I forgot. And it was like 8.7%,
something like 8.5 or something.
9%. Okay. and also with what happened around the world is that Russia is no longer like if you want to buy oil in Russia, they're no
Yeah.
longer going to take US or
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trading
Uh,
rubles now.
but they might take renminbi.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. So at the end of the day, my questions for you is that in order for US to reserve as the world currency, do you think it's necessary for them to increase the interest rate?
Yeah, I'll
I-
let you answer that.
I personally think it's no longer a choice for them whether to increase rates or not. They have to increase rates at 8.5% inflation. They if they don't increase rates, they're gonna lose. Whoever is in power is gonna lose the next election. So they will be increasing rates, right? I know it's not completely up to the politicians to decide. It's the U.S. Fed and BOC, right, for Canada. But at the end of the day, the economy is going to suffer greatly at these inflation rates. But also, the economy is going to suffer the moment they go another 2 points up. We're going to recession. So we
Which
always
is,
talk about this.
yeah,
Western society itself is between a rock and a hard place, right? And one
Yeah.
more thing we have to recognize is China is actively decoupling. Like China is looking to decouple. And right now, basically, basically Western society is built on three things. I think we all know, right? Cheap energy, cheap labor, and cheap goods, right? And China is no longer producing cheap goods. Their inflation rates are upwards of 9%. So I don't know if you guys noticed the price on Amazon lately. I've
Mhm.
noticed prices rise
Mhm.
substantially on Amazon.
Mhm.
So cheap goods isn't there. Cheap labor, not so much. Cheap energy, we're not getting any cheap energy anymore. So we're kind of screwed. We're quite screwed unless they quickly figure out how to reduce the numbers for all three of those. We're gonna be seeing inflations go up. Inflation goes up, they're gonna raise rates. Rates goes up, economy crashes, and we go into a snowball effect.
So that going to one of the questions that we have here. Okay, how much do you think the interest rate increase? And it was by like 2030, CEO above.
Yeah, so they're saying that to go between 2 and 3%, right? The overnight rate.
Did
Right
Deutsche
now.
Bank already predict a recession for US in 2023 because of the rate hikes? And we just started rate hiking. We haven't even.
But this is what no, but this is what happened in 2018, right? Like this is where Ringo, I'm trying to explain, right? Like, they did a lot of QE between 2010 and 2015, and that's where you saw these, asset prices go up in 2017 as well, right? And then in 2017 to 2019, they were doing quantitative tightening at that time too, and at that time, that's when it's a contractual, the like it's not expansion no more. Like we went through expansion right now since
That's when
COVID,
we
right?
see,
Right?
that's when we see the
Yeah,
housing price in New York,
yeah, like
and housing price in London is
yeah,
going down.
yeah, like
Actually,
right now.
I was in London looking at houses back in 2018.
Yeah,
And to be honest with you, the housing price is pretty. It was going for like £1,400 per square foot in downtown prime area.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and it's not moving. It's
Yeah.
not moving at that time.
Yeah, so I think that's what happens in 2018 when like they were almost like they're triggering a recession. I think there's problems with the repo market as well, David, at that time 2018, right? So like we're going down that path right now. We're shifting from an economic expansion to an economic contraction. So whenever that happens with contraction, money's being pulled out of the economy, and they're going to start with 95 billion starting in May, I believe, right? So this is where like it just follows the curve, and I think you're already seeing a slowdown in housing. Housing is usually 6 months behind, right? And we'll see the effects of this 6 to 12 months from now. And David's absolutely right. If they do it too aggressively and too fast, it may trigger a recession, and I think they're in a hard spot.
Well, to be honest, I don't think they care about recession. What they care is that we trigger a Great Depression.
Well, this is going to be interesting because this is the first time this is a global effect. The global economy did this simultaneously with their currencies. So this is going to be interesting. Hopefully it's not a 1930s or 1940s or 1970s moment, but who knows? It could be, right, David?
Because
And-
when
and-
US is printing, they're not just printing their currency. Because their reserve
Yeah.
currency status, they're printing everybody's currency.
Yeah.
So right now, I think like Sri Lanka just defaulted. We know Russia defaulted.
Yeah. You're already seeing
And,
you're already seeing it.
very similar to 97 Asian financial crisis when US raised rates.
Yeah.
Thailand, South Korea, also because Quantum Fund and Tiger Fund was attacking them at the same time in that time period. But what it does is it substantially devalues their currency, and it causes their lack of ability to pay back in US dollars, right? So any
Yeah.
debt that they have that's holding USD, they're going to be in trouble. And we're seeing that worldwide. If they raise rates too fast, it's not just going to collapse the US economy, it's going to collapse the global economy.
They're gonna get hurt more. Like if you see some of the articles, they're telling the US not to go aggressively, right? Like they want the US to go slowly, but the US is at the point where they're like it's a double-edged sword. Like if they don't go poke this way, they won't help inflation. But if they poke too much, they may trigger a recession. So they're in a hard spot right now. So I would not want to be in the Fed's shoes right now. So
Yeah.
Okay, one last question before you go. I know you have
Yeah.
to go, TJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think some new project will be canceled? It was from Aaron Chen.
new projects, you know what? That's where you have to do due diligence on.
No new project coming in up.
I think new projects will still come up, right? But builders are holding off to see where the market's gonna.
I know. I know a couple of builders are holding off until perhaps September to see.
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah, and the builders want to have a I think everybody, even as an investor, right? Like you want to have some stability, right? Like you want to make sure you buy in a balanced market, right? So I think what's happening is actually a good thing. With the economy, like it's becoming more of a balanced market, as opposed to prices rising from December to January alone. That was what 20%, I don't know, 15% alone, right? 10 to 15% in 2 months. So you don't want that volatility. So I think the builders, are looking for some direction as well, right?
Well, I do believe that in the short term, obviously, I will see a lot of the builder will cancel in the project. Okay, because there are a few things that builders have to face right now. Okay, first is their
Construction
inflation,
costs. Construction costs huge.
Like I was joking with my mom that okay, if I'm going to Home Depot and buy like tons of copper wire and put it in my basement right now, I will be super rich. Okay, it's better than being.
So Ringo, do you mean people that have purchased their condos and canceling those projects, or do you mean like new projects coming to market?
I think what this person, Aaron, I think what Aaron meant is that will the project be canceled?
So you bought, and then are you afraid that the project's gonna be canceled?
Well, I'm in a good shape because what happened is every time I bought, I even look at the builder's performer before.
You have to, yeah. So this is where I think he's right, and I would be kind of scared, right? Because
and to be honest with you, like when you're talking about that, I'm sorry to say, and then a lot of the builder are selling it in pre-construction, even if the land is not being purchased.
Yeah,
It's not being zoned.
yeah, it's not even been approved, right? And then they see these prices go up. But this is where you work with builders like these high, reputable builders, and that like Ringo and team kind of recommend.
No.
Yeah.
But like I do believe that even though if some of the builder is reputable, and even to be honest with you, even some of the big builder canceled before.
Which one?
But Liberty.
Concord. Yeah. Okay.
Concord is not. Concord never canceled before. Mancus never canceled a project before.
Yeah.
I do believe that Tridel did cancel in the late 90s.
I think so, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But we have to. What we have to face is that with the rising construction costs, okay, and especially when we have all this red tape, and the zoning process is too long, they are encountering a lot of the risks. And think about it that way: is that if you are in a business whereas you make zero to no profit, are you going to build it?
Yeah. So this is where inflation is not good for anybody, to be honest.
Just talking to some builders, and there was one builder I was talking to. They got everything finished, but the windows, they have no windows. Basically, their supplier canceled them.
Yeah.
And they were ordering from China. Now they're ordering from Europe, and they're just sitting there waiting for the windows. So think about the carrying cost daily, just having to wait for those windows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The risks are quite substantial for them right now.
Well, when a builder running short of cash,
Mhm.
okay, obviously they have to cancel it.
Yeah.
Or when they don't see any
Mhm.
like when they don't see any
Mhm.
profit from their project, then they have no choice but to cancel it.
Even in the resale market, like, people are holding back their moves because they don't know what's going to happen either, right? Like, if I sell now, or should I, like, even the market's kind of shifting right now too. Like, should I buy right now before selling, or should I sell before I'm buying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's an interesting one, right?
I
Because,
I get this question like 3 or 4 times this week already. Oh, should I buy first and then sell, or should I sell first and buy?
it's it,
Well, I think the answer is pretty simple. Like, think about it. I believe that it's better to sell than buy.
it depends on the situation, right? Like, if a person can hold both the properties, right, and they want to have a subtle move, right? Yeah, sure, right. But again, we don't know which way it's heading right now. Like, the market is still trying to find. We do see they're softening here, right? But if they can hold both the houses, why not, right? There's a lot of people can't. 95% of people can't, right? So
Well, another things to say is that I believe in Alberta there's such a thing called like escalation clause. Okay, whereas if the builder order the material and then it turns out that, oh, you know what, is 20 or 30% above what the construction cost is supposed to be, they can charge it back. Okay,
to the
Yeah,
consumer
yeah, to the consumer. So that's
in
why
in Calgary.
in Calgary. So that's
Oh,
why
wow.
like we've been very careful in my team, in terms of
Yeah.
picking up the
Yeah.
project. But a lot of people don't know that. Okay, they
Yeah.
thought that it was like Ontario.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back is that um with the fact being is that if we see there is shortage of supply
Mhm.
among the whole global chain,
Mhm.
and also with the inflation going like this,
Yeah.
the housing market, and that's what I thought. That's how, with the housing market going flat. Okay, I don't think the market is going to crash. I would just be honest. We'll see that there, even though if the market is going flat, I will see that a lot of their project will be canceled or not going to launch.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
It's gonna be interesting. Like that, I just think like the next decade, the next 10 years is going to be very, very interesting. If we can't get out of this, inflationary cycle, and it's permanent, and every year is like 10% increases, right? I feel like, personally, going back to David's point, right? Like, like this could trigger a crash, could be a recession, or even bigger, right? And this is where I do see an opportunity coming up as well, where once that happens, they will uh, you know bring back the interest rates lower to contain it, and they will print more money at that time. And I think at that time, especially with mortgage rates, I do get a lot of questions. Should I go variable? Should I go fixed? I feel like variable has always been good, but I think when that happens, right, that may be an opportunity to go fixed as well. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. It could be an inflationary cycle where let's see how housing does, right, in the next 10 years.
True. Okay. Anyway, that's it for now. That's it for this week. Remember to subscribe and like our channel. We will try to have this type of podcast or / YouTube live every single week, and hopefully that you guys like it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment on below, and then we will try to answer the week after. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ringo. Thank you, David. Bye-bye.